Hi everyone, welcome to the Cosplay Crunch. Each week oh, I already fucked it up, girl. Should I leave that in? I'll leave it in. Okay, take two. Hi everyone, welcome to the Cosplay Crunch. Each week we sit down to talk about all things cosplay. I've never had this much trouble. Oh my god. Okay, again. I've never done this more than once. This is hilarious. I think it's you. I'm blaming you. Okay. This is all staying in probably. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Cosplay Crunch. Each week, we sit down to talk about all things cosplay, including personal experiences, useful tips and advice, horror stories and hot takes, and sometimes the latest news and drama. I'm your host, Zavage Cosplay, and this week on the podcast, we have my BFF, my good Jush, Phee Cosplay. Hello and welcome.
Howdy! Excited to be
How,
here.
howdy from Texas, y'all. Are you from Texas originally?
Yes, I actually started talking in a southern accent, ironically, with my friend back in high school. And then it just became my accent overall. So, yeah,
Oh, well,
it
I don't think you
occasionally
sound
comes out.
I don't think you sound that southern. I think that, well, whenever I tell people I'm from Texas, they think I should sound like a cowboy, and I sound like a cross between a valley girl and like a New Yorker sometimes because my mom is from there. So it's all
That
confusing
makes
for
sense.
everyone. Yeah. No, I'm so happy you're here. I have a list of topics, and none of them are really related. So it's going to be a little bit of a wild journey on
All right.
tonight. But it's going to be great. So, first, I want to talk about how we met. So I remember us meeting at San Japan, and we were in Fire Emblem, and it must have been Fire Emblem Awakening, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and I
It
think
was.
that we spotted. We were in. Okay, I was in Owain, and then we had people. We had like oh my god, names. So Cordelia, and we had Lissa, and we had Maribel. Is that one of the ones? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And there were more people too that joined as well that I don't think was pre-planned. And then you were there as Tharja, and we were like, "Oh my god, you have the best Tharja cosplay ever." And we were like gagged, and then we basically dragged you around with us like the rest of the day.
Yes, I vividly remember because none of my friends really cosplayed at the time, so I was kind of just the one in cosplay walking around at San Japan, and you guys were in that weird section of the convention that not a lot of people are. I mean, it's not even really a part of the convention. And I
Right.
just turned the corner, and all of a sudden, I see the entire cast of Fire Emblem Awakening, and they're missing a Tharja, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's my people!" And
I was so
you
happy.
you guys were basically just like, "Come on in the photo shoot." I was like, "All right."
No,
Um,
literally. We just like abducted you in that moment, I think. Wait, so you said
yes.
that back then you didn't have a lot of cosplay friends?
Yes, I basically I try to drag a lot of my friends into cosplay, but they never really got into it. A lot of the times I would literally just make a cosplay for my friend and be like, "Please wear this so that I have someone to cosplay with at this convention." Um, and it took years and years of going to cons and making connections with other people until I finally found a group that was willing to cosplay at every con with me.
Wow. That's so I would never have guessed that because I feel like, well, we're going to go into your history in a little bit, but I feel like you've been going to conventions for so long. And I remember seeing you in Tharja, like that was not your first costume. Like I know that for sure. But like seeing you there, I would never have guessed that you weren't just like, the it girl at all the conventions with your entourage. I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess you never really know, but that's that's wild. I have really good memories though because when we first met, you were so friendly and nice, and I feel like slightly maybe overwhelmed by all of us like screaming at you, being like, "Oh my god, come and join us in our like crackhead escapades!" Like, I've
It
never
was
been
the
like randomly.
best.
I never like myself been randomly dragged into a photo shoot that I can recall. But like I'd imagine that would have been a lot.
It was.
Um,
And then at the time, Fire Emblem Three Houses had just been announced. It hadn't come out yet, I think. and
No,
I
you're
was
right.
obsessed with Marianne. And then later that night, because this is the day that I met you and Carol, later that night, Carol was in Marianne, and I never told her this, but like after that, after I saw her that night, I just sat down and just like cried tears of joy. I was like, how are there people out there that like to cosplay and like the same characters as me and are so nice? And I also had a little bit
Wait.
of soju, but
Okay, okay. That'll do it. But no, it's oh my god, that's wild. So you literally that was kind of a moment, I guess, where you kind of like was that like a connection moment to like, I don't know, reinvigorating your interest in like conventions or like finding cosplay friends?
yeah, I that was really the first time that a group of people were just so interested in cosplay the way that I was, and I felt like I had finally just made that connection, you know?
I had no idea. Oh my god, that's so sweet. And then we did
Yeah.
it all years later at
Yes.
Katsucon,
Yeah.
which was so fun. I remember we didn't have every single character from Three Houses, but we had a lot of them.
We had a
A lot of
pretty
the
damn big
children.
group.
Yeah, or I should say
Yes.
a lot of the adults because it was the post time skip one, but it was a big group. That was so fun. Oh my god, I missed that. That's why this year has been like the Fire Emblem Renaissance for me. I feel like it's the nostalgia from like that moment and earlier, which is like reinvigorated like the Fire Emblem photo shoots and like the student
Yes.
outfits and like I did the Ashen Wolves recently and I'm like I feel like all of it is just like I miss also part of it is I miss the Three Houses Awakening era because I feel like the later games weren't so good. That's my
I
personal
agree with you.
opinion. Yeah, I haven't. I
I have a very hot take on the new Fire Emblem, but I don't feel like being crucified today, so
oh, we can go together, girl. Hold hands. Okay, so I want to talk about your first convention, which I discovered was Anime Overload in 2009.
yes,
Wigless
that
with a
is
giant
yep.
fan.
Yeah.
I need you. Okay, I need you to walk us through this storyline. Walk all of us through the storyline because the context to which I saw from this photo of you as Baby Fee at this convention, I don't know what was happening. So can you take us through the journey of Anime Overload and what even got you there?
So, in 2007, I was up at night watching TV as you do, and Toonami came on and they were playing Naruto. And it was this intense episode where I thought Sasuke died. He was stabbed with a bunch of needles and stuff. It was one of the very first episodes of Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and something just kind of activated in my brain, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so cool." And Sasuke is like, he was like my crush at the time. I was like, "Oh my God, he's dead. How could this be?" And then Naruto just became my obsession after that. I specifically became obsessed with Tamari because I thought that she was really cool, really badass and hot. Um, and 2 years later, I found out about anime conventions because I was on YouTube, like looking at Naruto cosplayers or something. And so I was like, oh, maybe there's an anime convention near me. So I started Googling and I found Anime Overload in Austin, Texas, which was the closest big city to me. And it was taking place in the middle of July, and I called up my friend and I was like, "Yo, there's an anime convention. Do you want to go with me?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Um, and so I had bought a cosplay off of eBay because that's what you did back in 2009.
Yeah.
Um, it took 6 months to deliver.
Was it being
There were
handmade?
No, there were no standards back then. I basically had to ask my parents to request a refund because month after month the costume had not arrived. And when it finally did, it didn't fit me at all.
What'd you do?
Um, I just
How'd you
put
get
it
it
on
on?
anyways. I put it on anyways. I was like,
You're like, it didn't fit me at all. What did you do? I wore it anyway.
like nobody. I knew could sew or fix it or anything, I was like, fuck it, I threw it on. I bought a random fan in San Antonio, I think, on the Riverwalk. That was not related to Tamari at all, but it was the only thing I could find, and so I used that as her big fan instead of the one with the three moons. Um, and that's what I wore. Anime Overload itself was an entire experience.
Oh, how so? How so? I want to know. Does it still exist?
It does not. I believe it became Anime CTX, and then it's not a convention anymore.
Does what's Anime CTX?
It was this convention in Central Austin for
Oh,
like 2 or 3 years. I never went to it.
okay.
But Anime Overload 2009, like I said, it took place in July, and my parents drove me, and it was just me and my friend. They dropped us off, and we realized that we can't find this convention, although it's supposed to be at this location.
Wait, that
And
first of all, that's so problematic that you if you're okay, if you're driving to an anime convention, you should spot the weeaboos from a mile away. If you
you
don't
did not.
see if you don't see like people in kigurumis and like neon pink hair walking down the streets, then you're not in the right spot. So you didn't see anyone.
No, it was a parking lot and it was a warehouse. And I remember they had one of those digital signs up front that displayed the day and the weather. And the
Mhm.
weather was 113 degrees. And I was like, okay, that's pretty bad. So we see these double doors and we assume that, okay, well, this is, the right number of the address. So we open them up and sure enough, it was a pretty small warehouse, no windows or anything, and it was the convention. I saw a couple of people in cosplay. Um, and the first thing that kind of stuck out to me after I was like, "Oh my God, the anime exists in real life."
Uh-huh.
Because at the time, I don't even think Hot Topic really had anime. I think they had maybe like one or
Mhm.
two
Yeah, in that
things,
era it
but
was like not very much. It was like Invader Zim and like barely anything else, I think.
yeah. So, I get my badge and I quickly realize that there is no AC. And what they had done is they had gotten these giant industrial fans from I assume like Home Depot or
Oh my
something.
God.
They were like 4 feet by 4 feet. They were
Uh-huh.
huge, and they had several of them just kind of spread throughout the this room. And it was just blasting hot air. It wasn't actually helping the problem, and everyone was just drenched, drenched in
No.
sweat.
Wait. So first of all, was this are we talking like Costco size warehouse? Are we talking like like a Michael's sized like store? Like what are we talking
All
about?
right, we are talking, yeah, we're talking about the size of a Michael's. Yeah.
Okay, a size of Michael's emptied, right? And no
Yes.
AC. Was there electricity? Were the lights on?
The lights were on, and that's about it.
Were there
I actually
bathrooms?
found there were bathrooms, I think. I actually found some information about Anime Overload recently. I found out that the total attendance was 420,
Oh, slay.
and I took a screenshot in preparation of this of the
Wait,
guest
okay.
lists.
Okay. Who was there? Who was there? Do we know any of them?
Can you see this?
It's a little blurry, so go ahead and read it. Oh no, wait! Stop it! Stop it! It doesn't even matter what it says because all I see is canceled, canceled. Wait, what? Did they publish that? Wait, I'm sorry. Did, did,
AnimeCons.com published this
oh,
information.
oh wait, anime cons. I thought they published that as like PR for their own convention, and they were like, "This guest canceled. This guest canceled." Wait, can you read them? I wonder if we know who any of
Yes.
them are.
Okay, so out of 7 guests total, um, 4 of them canceled. One of them being Christopher Ayres, rest in peace. Jesse James Grail, who is an actor. Carly Mazier, actor. Blake Shepard voice actor.
Okay. For some reason, when you said guests, my brain immediately goes to cosplay guests, and so you started reading these names, and I was like, "Who the hell are these people?" They
They
didn't.
actually have two cosplay guests.
Oh, who? Do we know them? Probably not.
I don't know them. The first one is Mr. 3000 Digital Dimension Cosplay, and then Doug Finn.
Come on, Doug Finn. Oh my god, that's so funny. Wait, so if I went to that liminal space of a abandoned Michaels with no AC, I would never have returned to an anime convention.
Honestly, it was the best day of my life.
Oh, really? Okay, love. Wait,
It
so uh
it was so
ex-
good. I actually found a video from it, and it is this child with a yaoi paddle. That's the only video.
a child? How old?
Yes.
How old?
She
About
looks like she's 12 years old. And it is a crusty video from 2009. And apparently there was another convention that year also called Anime Overload, but that is not the one that I went to. The one I went to, you can tell it's the one because it's like this like gross yellow lighting in an empty warehouse. That's how you know it's
What's
the one.
okay? What's worse? No, no, no. Actually, okay. These are in my head. They're sisters. They're related. They're at least cousins. The anime convention that's in an abandoned warehouse with no AC, and the artist alley that's in an abandoned Victoria's Secret in a mall, which is
I
referential to the episode two before this, I think, with Lisa. Yeah.
yes.
Oh my God, that's so cursed. Okay, well, I'm glad you had a good time, and I'm glad that you decided that that didn't perturb you and keep you away from coming back. So, that convention experience is very unorthodox. What was the first convention you went to that was like a proper, like actual convention with air conditioning?
It was Ikkicon 2010.
Was that number one, or was that how many?
It
Maybe
wasn't the
not.
first one. It was back at the Hilton downtown.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, they haven't had it at that location in many, many years. But that was the first proper one. They had all the normal guests at that time, and I have a photo with a certain voice actor
I'm
that,
sure.
yep.
We all know and love. He's one of the
Mm-hmm.
girls. Well,
He's
not really, but okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, that was
crazy.
the first one that I was like, oh yeah, okay, AC. There's actually, at least 1,000 people here.
When that's the bar. Do you remember how much your badge was? You probably don't. For anime overload.
It actually said on the animecon.com, I paid $30 for a day pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I
then I
feel like
lost it and they
uh-huh.
made me pay again.
No.
Yeah.
My
I was
first okay, I literally so I always joke that like oh Onlycon was my first convention. It was the Ritz Carlton compared to what you had to go through. I might have only gotten a paper wristband for my badge, but it was on the beach. It had air conditioning. We didn't have industrial fans blowing the sweat down our bodies and like into our clothes. So that's a win win, I guess. But oh my
yeah,
God, look how far we've come. I mean, the badge prices are now like over $100, but at least we have air conditioning and sometimes we get water, right?
occasionally, yes.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about your for lack of a better word, gremlin cosplays. I don't know how big this library consists of for you, but the one that comes to mind is Tingle. And
Yes.
I remember the first time. So okay, context. When I met you, you were in Tharja, who is like slay cunty mommy with like her bra and her underwear with like her veiled like chiffon over her body with like her little book, right? So that's how I met
Oh,
you.
yes.
Then the duality came out when you brought and presented Tingle from the Legend of Zelda in the like green morph suit, head cut out, little steeple cone head, ears. That's it. No questions. No. No, like how did you okay, obviously you're a huge Legend of Zelda fan, but like how do you like think of these things? Like I would never have thought for you to cosplay Tingle, let alone anyone to. So like how did that happen? How do
Honestly,
these things happen?
I I'm just I like to cosplay a lot of really like badass, sexy characters. But sometimes I just want the complete opposite of that. And Tingle has been a meme for me for so long. I think I my Animal Crossing island was like satanic Tingle themed.
It was.
And
It was. Wait. Pause. I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna let you finish, but no. Oh my god, wait. So I remember our Animal Crossing dates during the pandemic. You're
yes.
bringing it all back. Oh my god. Okay, our Animal Crossing dates during the pandemic, and we all had our islands, and they were like crazy. Like they were like unhinged in the best way possible. And you opened your island, and I was like, and I did not know what to expect. And it was literally like satanic tingle cult ritual as an
Yes,
island. Stun. Anyway,
that's
continue. I
correct.
just like you said that, and it literally gave me like Raven Simone flashbacks to that era, and I have not thought about it since. And specifically, your island was literally not real. That was a fever dream. Anyway,
Yeah, it was that
continue.
much of a fever dream. Yeah, I think it was when I played Wind Waker. I don't know, Tingle, he just I felt like I related to him somehow. Like he was this, he's this guy who's just he's just a loser, honestly, and he like, gasses himself up, says, "Oh yeah, I'm a fairy." And he finds these random guys on the street and basically says, "Hey, like work for me for free for the end of your life." I was like, "Man, that guy's funny." Um, and I dedicated my Animal Crossing island to him. Um, it included various photos of Tingle spread throughout the island. Um, it included a Tingle maze where his grave was like at the very end of it, but you had to go this kind of convoluted path to find it. Um, but the Tingle grave actually had clues next to it that he wasn't actually dead. He he had like, birth down.
Say it out loud. You have to say it out loud. You have to explain to the people the demonic and twisted inner workings of your brain.
He had burrowed down and popped back out of my Animal Crossing house, in which it was a completely normal house except for one room on the left, or I think it was the basement. And he burrowed back up, and the entire wall I had made custom wallpaper of Tingle with demonic red eyes, and that was plastered all over. And there was a seance on the ground, and just a bunch of offerings of money and maps and stuff that Tingle collects. And yeah, he sprung back up and started a cult.
T. Okay. Um, that's all I wanted to hear. And we're not talking anymore about that. No, I'm kidding. But I love those types of costumes. And honestly, like something I never really had made one of those, I don't know what to call it, like kind of like cursed kind of gremlin cosplays before. I mean, kind of my early cosplays were all cursed gremlin cosplays, let's be honest. But intentionally so until Katsucon when I did Ghastly with like my loofah fantasy and my like ball head with like the little mouth and the eyes and the fishnets and the little biscuit heels. And okay, they weren't supposed to be biscuit heels, they were supposed to be good hooker heels, good hooker boots, thigh highs, but they broke when I was walking to Chipotle at Katsucon. They literally broke after
Oh
30 minutes of me putting
no.
them on. And they're supposed to be made for drag queens. And I'm like, I'm not that heavy to break drag queen shoes. Okay. These should be reinforced to like 500 pounds at least. Anyway,
Yeah.
I that really gave me an appreciation for the curse convention experience of it all, because it's so fun to not only like do a costume like that that's so ridiculous and fun and just campy, but also to not be recognized in that costume, and you can be like anonymous, which obviously you as Tingle, you have your face, but that's literally it. So technically if someone knew who you were, they might see, but also they might not know who you are because like it was crazy.
Yeah.
But
I actually wore
Anyway.
Tingle to an etchy convention and it was a hit.
Oh,
I
really?
did it yeah. It was a bit rebellious, but it was a hit, especially with the ladies.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I bet. And then okay, on the flip side, I want to talk about your Gremlin cosplay, glamour cosplay. So you have a lot of cosplays that involve, like bunny suits and bikinis. And like, first of all, stun. Like literally, like I thought, like beautiful. But second of all, did it take a lot of time to like develop the confidence to be able to wear costumes like that and like the body confidence? Because a lot of people, myself included, I feel like there's a lot of characters or designs that may or may not even like be like fan art or whatever, or maybe the original designs show a lot of your body. And I feel like a lot of people would be like, oh, like I'm not confident or I'm not comfortable, but like you literally rock the fuck out of these costumes. So I'm like, where did that come from? Or have you always been like that way? Or like what? I don't know. I want to go into your brain and understand, I guess, and maybe get some
That's a good
confidence from you.
question. Yeah. I'm trying to remember the first like true NSFW cosplay I did, but I can't quite remember. But I definitely have worn things and people have said like, "Oh my God, I wish I had the confidence to wear what you're wearing." And honestly, I don't feel like it's confidence. I feel like my identity is completely hidden when I'm in cosplay because no one would ever recognize
Oh.
me if I was no one will ever recognize me with the fake colored contacts and the lashes and the wig and the outfit. And so it feels like when I put on the like super sexy cosplay, like it's not really me, and therefore like
Oh.
I'm not embarrassed, if that
I
makes
get
any
that.
sense. That
No,
that
no, no.
probably
I mean,
sounds very dissociating, but honestly it's not. I just feel like I'm wearing a disguise.
no, that's okay. So I will say that for myself, I don't think that I personally really felt that way, but I do know that a lot of like drag performers feel the same way. So like in real life as boy, they are like very like reserved, shy, maybe have body confidence issues, maybe deal with other types of things, but then when they put on the drag with the wig, the contacts, the makeup, the costume, it's completely different. It's like completely transformative from a personality perspective. And that kind of gives like the delusion, if you will, to like not have like all of those, I guess, insecurities be like
Yeah.
bombarding your mind. But like that's wild. I didn't know that. Like, I mean, I know that a lot of people do kind of have that kind of transformative nature with cosplay, but I don't know. I feel like for me, it's not like I feel like my personality is so big, sometimes it takes over the character.
That's
In a bad
fair.
way. No.
No, it's great.
No, but like I mean, like it's really really awesome to see that I don't know, you have such a breadth of what you present with your costumes because there's like both ends of the spectrum, right? There's like the cursed low effort and then there's like the hot like sexy like girl power and then there's the really well crafted and constructed costumes too. So like the
Oh, thank
diversity
you.
and breadth you're bringing to the panel is truly like broad, I feel. How do you like does it just kind of depend on your mood, what you're in the mood to like make or bring to a convention, or like is there specific conventions that you bring certain costumes to, or like how does that change?
I would say it's usually just what I feel like making, and the attention span that I have, which is a big part of it too. Sometimes I'll just leave out a bunch of details if, I don't have this headspace for it. Um, but every year I try to do a, detailed enough cosplay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but
To
I
like
feel
push
like my
yourself
default,
creatively, or like I guess
yeah,
what's the
yeah.
motivation? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Normally I find motivation in getting back to my roots, and that means kind of maybe it's rewatching a really old show that I enjoyed as a kid, or replaying a game that I really liked. Things that most of the time are not popular at all, and most people would not recognize. But just kind of getting back in touch with those things that really like sparked the, me of today. Um,
Right.
that's kind of what motivates me.
I feel like that's honestly a pretty healthy approach to it because I find, and you probably seen this too, with you having some cosplay friends here and there that were kind of fleeting at the beginning, and then even now we're in 2024. I find that there's a lot of cosplayers that I knew from like the pre-COVID era that are just gone. They just stopped cosplaying, which is like fine. If your interest changed, you shouldn't keep doing it. But I think that some of that comes from a place of like the internal and external pressure to keep making things. But I feel like you're doing this from a place of like, oh, I want to take on one project, maybe one or two projects a year that like are going to creatively push me and make me utilize my skills that I know I have. But then the rest of the costumes I'm going to do are going to just be like fun, goofy, go back to my roots, like have a good time and not be stressed about it, which is a really, I think, a really good, healthy balance to it all. Because when you spend, oh, and every single one of your costumes is like a master's level like thing that gets exhausting. But at the
Yeah,
same time, I don't think that anyone would want to lose touch with their ability to create at a really high level because those are skills that you spend a lot of time to acquire. You don't want to lose them, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to find a balance between the two.
Right. And I think that like I need to do better at that too myself. Because I think that even sometimes I think, oh, it's gonna be a simple costume, and then I end up like going crazy and like making it into a whole not simple thing. Um, so I feel like I need to get back to like, I don't know, coming out of the pandemic, I was doing a lot of simple stuff because simple in the grand scheme of things, I was still sewing them myself, but like simpler stuff because I felt like I was resetting. Not in the sense that like I lost all my skills, but in the sense that like I hadn't made a costume in like a year and a half. So
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I needed to ease myself baby steps into making stuff again. And at that point, I was taking on projects that were much more manageable and then slowly building on that. But I think it never really stopped building. And now I'm at a point where like I feel like I need to like intentionally take a step back and try to make some stuff that's like much less complex. Maybe one day I'll be able, oh my god, Colossal Con South. I'm gonna go, and my goal is to do like a swimsuit of something. Um, I don't know
You
yet
should
what it's
do
gonna
Fire
be.
Emblem. You should
Okay,
you should join my Fire Emblem group.
I could do Fire Emblem. I also wait. Why I limit it to one? I can do more. I also thinking about doing Baldur's Gate. I was thinking about doing Halcyon because I want to make a Halcyon cosplay anyway. But like that could be like the first little like jaunt into that like hell portal. So yeah, that'll be like a good time. I think. Do you? So you do have a Fire Emblem group for Colossal Con?
It's a group. It also might end up just being me, but either way, I'm going to do Cypher Lucy.
I wasn't processing what you were saying. And then you were like, oh, the group might be a group of one, but with you there, it'll be two. It's the Facebook group of it all, like what we used to do back in the day where we'd organize groups. And you're like, oh, let me invite you to the Facebook group we have. And you invite me, there's one member. Evil. Okay. Okay, okay. I want to
Yeah,
talk
I mean,
about,
yeah.
oh no, wait, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I'm right now I'm gonna say that it's a group, but I mean, more often than not, a lot of the time, I'm the one who ends up completing the cosplay and wearing it, and that is perfectly fine. A group of one is cool too. Just do it for yourself, right?
it sounds like you're it sounds like you're giving yourself an emotional pep talk and you're also manifesting that this
I've
group's
had
gonna
this,
happen.
yeah. It's okay. I'm not, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I get it. I'm
I
doing
know.
it for me.
I mean, that's. I think we talked about this once before with cosplay groups. You have to make the costume for yourself first and foremost, and don't rely on you being happy with a group because most of the time the group is going to fall apart. Maybe not the entire group, but there is no chance in hell that everyone's showing up. No chance. But
Exactly.
anyway, okay, so I want to talk about this is kind of a departure from what we were just talking about, but I think it's relevant. Not relevant. It's not relevant at all, but I want to ask you. So, I was thinking the other day about my most frustrating moments when constructing costumes, and that got me on a whole rant about my most hated cosplay materials and tools, because I feel like there were some things I started out using when I first started cosplaying thinking that it was the end all be all, and they just sabotaged me. And I will give you an example to get your mind going, because I want to know what yours, maybe some examples of yours are. But for me, sticky backed Velcro is the devil's lettuce. Honest to God. So I Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know, sticky back Velcro is basically what they market as industrial strength adhesive on the back of industrial strength Velcro. Now, the Velcro itself, in terms of adhering to each other, is fine, but the adhesive on the back does not stick to shit. You put it on armor, peels off. Put it on fabric, won't stay for more than 3 seconds. Put it on literally anything besides probably a wall. A wall is probably the only application for which this is actually adequate. For costumes, it's terrible. And I learned, I was like, how come when I would go to like fabric stores or craft stores, the only like big thick Velcro they sold had sticky back on it? And so I was buying it. And once I got smart enough to learn that the sticky back didn't do shit, I started to use different glues with the sticky back. But the problem there is the glues would not bond to the Velcro. So there would just be glue like flying everywhere, and my costume would still be falling apart. So that's evil. And then I learned you can buy rolls of it on Amazon without the adhesive. And that changed everything, because I buy the thick one and I can just cut it into whatever size I want. And if I'm doing armor, I will usually sew the Velcro to like felt, and then I will either hot glue or super glue the felt to the armor. Or if I'm doing it on fabric, you can just sew under the fabric. And the Velcro itself is great without the bullshit lies and deception that is presented by the fake adhesive. That's my tirade and rant on sticky back Velcro. It's fucking terrible. And I thought I needed to occupy this moment to talk about it. Do you have anything similar that you have experienced working with in any avenue with cosplay that you detest and you need the people to know?
So I totally get where you're coming from with the sticky back Velcro. I have actually never experienced it myself because in my head, I already made the connection like that is going to be a disaster and I will
You were
stay
smarter than me,
far
is what you're saying.
somehow. But I also used hot glue to sew. So I mean, um
Wait, how did the hot glue sewing go with the no air conditioning and the 113-degree heat? Oh, but you didn't make that one yourself.
I didn't make
That was
that
bought.
one. Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
were you ever
My
wearing a costume where the hot glue like melted?
No, but it did happen with Werbla in the car.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah. Um Materials that I detest. So I might, get a little heat for this one, but
Do
honestly,
it. We want the heat.
I thought that I sucked at sewing. I thought that I was the worst, that I just couldn't do anything right. But I was sewing with what I was taught to use. I took sewing lessons at ACC, which is
Uh-huh.
Austin Community College, and they were like, you have to use broadcloth. And so I was like, okay. And I would make dresses and stuff with this, $7 a yard broadcloth.
Or
And I was like,
less.
everything I make is so ugly. And it frayed so bad I didn't have a surgery or anything. And to this day, I don't care what it is, I will not use broadcloth.
Wait, that is hilarious. So you're sewing at that point, your sewing construction wasn't the issue. You would sew these garments and you'd put them on and be like, I'm wearing a trash bag. I am a
Like
picnic table.
like my most treasured cosplay, which is my Super Smash Bros. Zelda Ultimate version. I sewed the freaking dress with broadcloth. Why did I do this? It was so ugly.
Oh my god. No, so that's the wait, when you said broadcloth, first thought in my head, well, Joann's is gonna be mad because now all they have is broadcloth and fleece, so
That
that
is true.
sucks. And this my second thought that popped in my head is I went to a quilt show in Houston, and I was looking around, and like the fabrics they had were mostly quilters fabrics, so like broadcloth, quilters cotton, things like that. They were selling that shit for like $25 a yard for
Oh,
broadcloth and
hell
quilters
no.
cotton. They were pretending like it was like silk dupioni up in there. They were like, oh. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I think some of it might have been pre-cut into quarters, but even still, it's like I have scissors, and I'm not a quilter. So if I'm not a quilter, why am I using broadcloth? All that being said, that's so tragic, and I'm sorry that you did that to yourself.
Yeah.
I think that my only experience with using horrible fabrics was when I first started. I didn't know I could go to Joann's even. I thought that the Walmart fabric aisle was the end all. Oh, honey, all of that is broadcloth pretty much.
I remember I somehow I had the confidence to make Corrin from Fire Emblem Fates
Yeah, yeah.
as my first armor cosplay. I was like, yeah, that seems doable. Um and I bought a freaking bed sheet from Goodwill to use as the cape, and it was broadcloth as well. And you know how well broadcloth drapes for capes, so I think I hot glued it to the armor as well. Yeah.
Might as well at that point, go all in on the fantasy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I feel like there was sometimes when we've gone to Goodwill and actually made pretty good costumes, whether it be like I pieced together quite a few costumes in my earlier cosplay days from pieces from Goodwill and kind of like sewed them together. Like Handsome Jack from Borderlands was mostly from Goodwill with like things added and painted and things. And then Carol made a Padme dress from Star Wars prequels out of like comforters and stuff from like
Ew.
Goodwill or something. And I was like, okay, so I feel like if you find the right things, but yeah, no, like it's really hard to make broadcloth look nice in a costume. And also you might as well just get the fabric because it's not going to necessarily be more expensive. You can find good fabric that's the same price. So anyway, so
Exactly.
what you're saying is we need to make a costume, sew it out of broadcloth, but then all the closures need to be made from sticky back Velcro.
Yes. And any
Horrible.
sewing needs to be done with hot glue.
Yes. Oh my God. Wait, we should make these. We can twin.
It'll never fray. If you close all the threads with hot glue, it'll never fray. I'm just
Pro
saying.
tip. That's a finishing method. For your next convention, for your next contest, it'd be like flip your seams. Oh, fray check who? Surging who? French seams who? No, 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 no. Honey. The new tool is the cosplay sticks, which honestly I do love cosplay sticks. They're great. But the hot glue, have you used this before?
I have
The
not. I want to buy them.
Oh my God. So I was not a convert until I went to some convention. I don't remember which one it was. And they had like the hot glue guns and they had the cosplay sticks specifically. And like whatever they use in those glue sticks has like resins or something in them that make them like more stronger. And I was like, okay, it's hot glue. What's it gonna be? So I used it and at the convention and they were like ripping on the foam and trying to get it. And I was like, it's not doing anything. It was not coming apart. So I bought them, and now when I've used them, I've never had the hot glue when I've used it for like fasteners or like connections on armor or anything like that. I've never had it come apart once. It's worth it, and it's not that expensive, honestly. So
Hey, I'm
recommend.
sold. That was all I needed.
No, literally recommend. Like anytime that we need to adhere something, it's like the Cosplay Six, which I don't know if Cosplay Six is the same company as Surebonder, but Surebonder is the one that I bought the hot glue gun from, and they're the ones that were there with the Cosplay Sticks. So either way, not sponsored by the way. They should sponsor. Um, okay, I want to talk about just real quick. I'm talking about OF because I Don't even okay, so obviously with OF, everyone talks about how much work it is, right? They're like, oh, it's actually a lot of work. Is it basically like maintaining a social media, like an Instagram, or like what's like the comparable level of work that goes into an OF versus like a normal social media if you're like trying to like because you need to consistently post, right? I guess like what does that even look like?
So it's kind of like you are your own boss type of thing. Honestly, I'm pretty bad at it. And as someone with I don't know, if you can really regulate your activities and that kind of thing, then it's it could be a good route for you. But
Hmm.
for me, I try not to overwhelm myself with making content, and advertising and all that. So I kind of just do it at a pace that works for me, which is only really posting when I want to. Um, and yeah, that way I don't get just, so bored of it to where I just want to quit.
Hmm.
I'll have months where I do a lot of content, a lot of advertising, and then months where I don't really do that much at all. Um, but honestly, it works for me, and um, I think the consumers also can see that it makes me a little more real, that I'm just not constantly, you know,
Yeah.
advertising and all that.
That's what I was
But
gonna say too is oh sorry,
at the
go.
same time, it probably is limiting me financially, but it
So
is what
like
it is.
I think though, like we said earlier, if it's more sustainable long term, it's probably better to do it that way. And also, like you said, if you're posting content you want to post and it's not forced, I think that makes the connections more genuine. Because obviously, I mean, I don't know how OF works. I guess you have subscribers, so like they're for your content. With like so normal social media where you don't have subscribers, the algorithm rewards consistent posting. So people will post stuff even if they don't actually want to be posting it. They'll just need content to post. That way they don't go inactive.
Hmm.
I've never been that way personally. I'm always like I want things to post that I actually want to share, and I don't care if I don't get reach or I don't get noticed because the algorithm hates me because I don't use the platform enough. I just am kind of like whatever. But I guess with OF, the subscribers are there for you, and if they're still there, then they still want to see you. And if you're sharing genuine content and you're having genuine connections with the people that are there and supporting you, that's probably better, right?
Yeah.
Is most of your
And
content like oh sorry, go.
I was gonna say, it's actually quite fulfilling for me too, because the people that are subscribed to me, they enjoy the same types of games and anime that I do. And
Oh.
I actually remember most people that do subscribe, and I'll dare say that I even have friendships with some of them, especially the ones that have been there for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, it's actually fulfilling for me to an extent. With some people, most people are very nice. Yeah,
I mean, that's always going to be the case where like it's like the majority is going to be like supportive and nice. There's always going to be a minority that's like, okay, that's fine, stay away. Like I'm like, oh, I
yeah.
love the people yeah, I'm like I like the people I meet at conventions, but when you go and grab my wig off my head, that's a different story. Especially if I don't know if it's a friend that scalps me and the wig didn't cost like hundreds of dollars, I'm like, girl, go off, scalp me. But like if it's some random man that comes up behind me and starts yanking on my wig that literally costs hundreds of dollars, I'm like, get away from me, get away from me. Um,
Yeah.
is most of your content self-shot, or do you have like photographers, or like how does that usually work for you?
So I thought that if I had the most professional, camera, lights, setting, etc., that that would mean that more people would like my stuff. But what I actually found is the complete opposite. People like mirror selfies for some reason. Like the most low quality photo I could get in my freaking bathroom. People eat that shit up. If I pay a photographer, do all this professional stuff, um, nobody likes it. Nobody wants to buy it. Nobody, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I know what it is. I
I
feel
feel
like,
like, wait, can I guess? I want to guess. And you
yes,
tell me, okay.
yes.
So I feel like when it's a very produced studio photo, it it doesn't feel as natural, as like genuine of a connection, in the sense that, like, obviously there's a human being behind the camera taking this photo of you, there's someone else there, so they set up a set, like, right? Whereas if you're just in a costume or like in lingerie and like doing a character and you're taking the photo of yourself, that's the one-on-one, right? That's like, that's the more intimate, like, oh, this photo's for you, and it's not like this big production, it's more like genuine and easy that way. I feel like that's the psychology behind it.
Yes, that is exactly what I assume as well, is that people don't like the idea of somebody else being there. They it like you said, it's personal. It's almost like I could, directly send this photo to someone's message or whatever.
Right.
Um, yeah, that's what I
You,
think it is. And so it's actually been quite a relief and just kind of realizing that I don't really need to do all of this extra stuff, even if it is nice. Sometimes I just do it for me, even though I know that nobody's gonna like it. If I always pay the photographer if I'm going to, of course, like sell the content. But
mhm,
a lot of the time I lose money on that and I do it for me so that I can actually have something nice.
right,
Um, but it does relieve a lot of the stress of having to do such a big production for everything that I want to shoot because at the end of the day, the people who are subscribed to OnlyFans, they just want to see me, in my natural state.
right.
So,
No, that makes sense. Something that also is kind of a tie-in, not with OF, but like with cosplay, is, I don't know if it's still the case now because I have not kept up. Again, I feel like I, in the grand scheme of like social media, am just like old and I don't know how to use it. And I'm like, whatever, I'm not going to even pretend to try anymore. But back before, when you shared cosplay selfies, the actual reach that people saw and like interacted in like the selfie of you in cosplay was leagues more than like an actually well taken photo demonstrating your costume. And I don't know if that's because I don't have a bunch of horny like people like looking at my stuff and like being like, oh, we need the selfie. No, it's like, but like I feel like there's something there because when I would share like a full costume, I like those photos. For me, I paid the photographers and I booked the shoot because I want photos of the full costume. But in terms of like social media performance, it was the selfies that literally would like pop off. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't care. But who knows? I think now if you're not posting a reel, no one's gonna see it anyway. So Um, okay, so I want to talk about oh, this is just a fun question. In honor, do you watch Drag Race at all?
I don't.
Okay, well, you have to answer the question anyway. I don't care.
Okay.
In honor of season 16 of RuPaul's Drag Race wrapping this past weekend, spoiler, Nymphia Win won. She was the first East Asian queen to have won Drag Race, which is kind of cool. But not related to my question at all. If you were put into a position where you were at a convention and you had to lip sync in cosplay a character of your choice to a song of your choice for $1,000 grand prize, who would you wear and what would you lip sync to?
Oh my God.
And if you want a moment to think, I can give my answer first because I've thought about this a lot.
Okay, okay, you go first.
So I have a lot of choices, but I'm going to limit it to one. Um, so recently I've been on like the Has Been Hotel train, which is like most people, right? And one thing I will say is that I get so irrationally enraged when I see the off like synced lip syncs to like, it'll be like a character from Has Been Hotel and they'll be like lip syncing in a reel, but the lips will be like a half second behind the audio track. That drives me
Yeah.
fucking insane. But anyway, I'm making Lucifer, right? That's my next project I'm working on, and I just have this fantasy of like him performing to Judas or Marry the Night by Gaga. And I would want the full like car in the rain with the fire, slutty. I would want the corset paired with the tearaway pants that just leave like nothing to the imagination with the thigh high boots. And that's what I want. That's my fantasy. And that is what I would choose if I had to lip sync. And I would need all of the equipment, the sound stage, the rain, and I want it all on the stage at like, I don't know, wherever convention that's happening in my head. That's what I would pick. I think it'd be so fun. It'd be so cunt. It would not be the stereotypical like I'm lip syncing to Hazbin Hotel, which is like fine. The songs are great. I love them. I've listened to them 100 times, but that just seems like it's related to the character, but it takes it somewhere else. So that's what I would do.
You need to make that happen now that I've seen it in my mind.
I
That
know,
needs to happen.
right? Uh, I know, and I'm like, yeah. I feel like it does. How to Spend an Anime is probably going to steal that idea. Someone's going to enter and take that. But anyway, what would you do?
I think I would go back to my roots, get in
Mm-hmm.
Tharja, and then make somebody
Ooh.
cosplay Robin. So it would be a
Oh.
duo. And I actually do karaoke all the time. And this is my one of my go-to songs. I always have to sing this, and I always replace the lyrics with however many people are in the room. And the song is Just the Two of Us. So if there are four people in the room, I sing just the four of us, and I would sing just the two of us with me as Tharja and a Robin. And yeah, just envisioning our love life together. I
Do
think
you need
that
any
would be
props?
beautiful. Yeah.
What props would you have? Would you have like, how would you have like Robin like in a chair, or like what would you like, what's like the fantasy here?
Well, I need to have some roses, some candles lit, and I need to probably have a hex of some sort.
Yes, absolutely.
Gotta have the tomes out. Yeah.
Wait, you could do this. Wait. Because you know how they have those candles that are like fake candles that are just like remote
Yes.
controlled, and rose petals, fake roses, right? And then, oh my God, like even like a little platform with like pillows and like blanket. We could literally put on a show for the children. Maybe not for the
Yes.
children, but like for the children. Not the
Yes.
children, not the 12-year-old with the yaoi paddles, but the others.
Yes. Honestly, there are some karaoke places that let you bring your own stuff, and those are the best places. You can literally just it doesn't even have to be food or drinks. Like when they say anything, they mean anything. Like you can bring extra strobe lights and disco balls and stuff.
Whoa. In
Yeah.
Austin?
Yes, there is one in Austin. It's called Austin Karaoke. And then they also have High Tunes Karaoke, but I like Austin Karaoke more.
But next time I come, we're gonna tear it up. There's like I went for my birthday to a karaoke place, and I think they're very strict about what you can bring, but it was still fun. Anyway, like a hot topic. This is gonna be a departure for both of us because it's kind of unhinged. And I have it up on my other screen because I need to like dictate exactly what's happening here because I won't remember it. But all I'm gonna say is GI Joe cosplay competition. Um,
And no, I know about this.
okay. So, for everyone that doesn't know, there is a convention called Fayetteville Comic Con. Now, I don't know where this convention is located. Do you know where it is? No? Okay. Don't know where this convention is located. Don't know how big it is. Don't have any context about what this is. But what I do know is that they're very pressed and angry that they did not get the turnout of the millennia for the G.I. Joe cosplay competition. And competition isn't even like the right word. It's like almost as if you're expected to put on a full on play. So I'm going to read you the post on Facebook from the convention. All right. At 5 p.m., which is like weird that they're writing in first person as a convention entity, which is bizarre. At 5 p.m., I will be canceling the character creator masterclass competition and awarding first place to Renee Evans, the only person who followed the directions so far and applied to compete. This is the only cash cosplay award accepting cosplays got talent. Last call. That's not English. Um so that was posted. Then there was an edit to the post by the same convention saying, "We have at least one more registered, and looks like another just didn't realize that they needed to register, even if they are not all the way done. So at least three." Folks, this is like NYCC, New York Comic Con. You want us to put money up and be like big shows and promote big cosplay, yet you have to let the showrunners know you are competing and register. As explained, this is not a runway competition where you sign up the day of. It's a scheduled performance. That doesn't give me any context of what's happening. I had no idea what was happening from that. Have you read this post?
I have not. I was on the toilet today and I think I had some videos playing in the background and I was like, G.I. Joe, what the heck? Does anyone under 20 even know what G.I. Joe is? And I
No.
just heard this person ranting about it and that was it. I didn't read into it. I was just like, what? How delusional do you have to be to think that anyone would put up with this?
And then I
And
have, oh, literally, I know. Then I have the first comment. So this was what actually gave me some context to anything that was happening here, because I don't think there was mention in this original post of anything related to GI Joe. It doesn't tell you anything about what it is. Okay. So, oh, and then the title of this looks like it's just called Spring 2024 Cosplay, but the word cosplay is scratched out. Creator is in bold letters, masterclass competition. So anyway, I always look, okay, what's the first comment? Someone says, I mean, to be fair, this competition seems very niche, and the application process does seem to be a bit much, girl. Not only does one need to come up with an entirely original G.I. Joe character and purchase all the cosplays to use, time and energy and talent to make, but then all but then also needs to present concept design and a dossier and a construction plan, dialogue, and photos of it all completed. And then there's like, it says, it goes on, it's a screenshot, so I can't see the rest of this. But then the response to that was, honey, it's a character creation contest, not a cosplay contest. And they write cosplay, COS, capital COS, and then capital PLAY, which is like bizarre. They don't even know what this is, like not a cosplayer that's writing this. This is like creepy. Not a cosplay contest. And I know cosplayers that could do this on a $30 budget and have done so. And they won $500. So to be fair, it is meant to be niche as a benefit to the show that is investing in it. Basically, they're like, get good, level up, and fucking turn out your GI Joe fan fictions and produce it like you're coming from Hollywood. Produce it like it's an Apple TV show, please.
I just don't understand this whole thing. How can you be so deluded that you think anyone would do this? I don't understand.
And then it's just a bunch of people saying what is wrong with, not what is wrong with you, but they're presenting very valid points, like what is happening here? And the convention is just yelling at them all, saying, like, basically, no, it's like, you don't understand. You're supposed to create a character from scratch. Like, and then people are like, comparing this to NYCC is really a stretch. And there are people yelling at each other. And there's like, people are defending the convention. They're yelling at it's like starting drama and feuds in the Facebook group. It's all the Facebook. There's just, the laugh reacts are off the chain. Um, but yeah, it's very, very bizarre. And I honestly don't know what's happening here. But yeah, that's just the news, I guess.
weird thing to hear about on what, a Thursday?
Yeah. No, we had to.
Just your
Um,
average Thursday.
would you enter the GI Joe costume competition, and would you have your portfolio of materials, playwright, script, original audio, backing track, orchestrated theme music, original hair, makeup, costume design, set, and scenery done for this event? Is that a yes for you?
And and they're not even paying you to do that. That's just to be a contestant, right? You have
Yep.
to, oh, um,
Yep.
I'm gonna have to politely decline. I did something very similar and it was a lot of work, and honestly it wasn't really worth it, and I got paid to do it, and I got paid to travel, and I got to, and it wasn't GI Joe themed. It was more open than that. And that was a lot of work, and I was like, damn, okay, probably gonna decline an offer like that next time, but I don't know. They're so diluted.
Oh, but don't worry. There's a slide deck in the application that you have to read to educate yourself on what you need to be presenting. Hold up, I'm gonna Google this. What is this called? Fayetteville. I need to see where this is located. I'm sorry. I need to figure this out. One
I
second.
want to say it was like South Central America.
North Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, North Carolina and Fayetteville, North Carolina. Huh, never heard of that before. Anyway, well, that can go back. That can go in the drawer it came from. Okay. The last thing I wanted to have, we have to go to our guest question. This time it's on my phone because I didn't print it. I feel like, okay, I feel like the indicator if I like you or not is if I print out the guest question or not. So you should feel bad, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, I'm just joking. Okay. Save trees, whatnot. Okay. Super stoked for your podcast, and I have some questions, suggestions that I would like to ask for the guest. So there's two different questions that are kind of related. One, what are your dream builds and advice for tackling those types of big projects? And two, how do you store your cosplay? Best wishes. Will be eagerly awaiting more episodes. So dream builds, and I guess what are your dream builds? Do you have any dream builds? And I guess what is your advice for tackling big projects?
So I've mostly made my dream builds already. I'm actually working on one of them right now, which is Claire from Claymore. It's not the hardest cosplay ever, but
Mm-hmm.
it is kind of like armored fabric, which is a little bit bizarre. And I'm working with like a stretch suede material, and I've been working on techniques to try to make it look armored while still being, flexible. It's a lot of detail on the waist, so I need to be able to bend forward. Um,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm working on that right now. It's kind of just a basic black dress with some buckles and a cape and some armor, but I'm doing it with a big Claymore group, and it's honestly just a dream come true. So that's one of them.
That's so
The
exciting. Wait,
other
wait,
dream,
wait. Before you go to that, I did you see the so the oh my god, so many thoughts. Did you are you aware of the cosplay tutorial challenge that was like on Instagram?
yes.
Or familiar with it at all. So the person that won, her name's Indra Rojas. I think her Instagram is either Indra Rojas or Fantasy Ninja. I don't remember which. She was actually at Nishi Fest. Very sweet. She
Oh,
did
cool.
a tutorial on covering uh armor with heat and bond and with fabric, like almost like what you were just describing, and that made me think of it.
Interesting.
I literally could send it to you after this, at least send you the post, but it
Yeah.
literally is, oh my gosh, I want to, where is it? um it's called uh well, I guess, okay, it's basically, yeah, it's using like fabric and heat and bond over foam to make armor that's flexible and like fabric covered instead of paint.
Okay, that's
I'll send it to you right
awesome.
now.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, you just jogged my memory when you said that because I was like, oh my God,
It's-
how relevant? Because I was like, who would ever do this? No, I'm kidding. But I was like, what you're
I
describing
know.
is literally that. Anyway, I think I sent it. I'm sending it to someone. Oh wait, am I starting group chats, girl? Oh my God, this is why I should not be on Instagram. I don't know who I said that to. Anyway, so okay, that's your one project you're working on now. What's your second one that you were going to say?
It is Elma from Xenoblade. She has a form that is not seen until the very end of the game, so don't Google it if you are gonna play that game. It's kind of niche, so I don't expect anyone to break out their Wii U to play this game. But um, it's it's a very like cyber-esque robot suit. Um, if you know the character Cosmos from Xeno Saga, I believe she looks very similar to that.
Okay.
Okay, well, she's a robot girl and
Okay.
just completely covered. She has like a morph suit that's like it's like sewed in a bunch of places to kind of make it look like she has a very viney body underneath and like a hexagon torso where you can see her like belly button through the suit. And then she's
Oh.
completely covered in cyber armor, and she's got a bunch of like spikes coming out of her. It's a total disaster of a costume, and something inside of me needs to make it because nobody has ever dared try to cosplay this character before. I did the wig and like the makeup test for her, and I was like, oh yeah, this needs to happen. Um, I think I would have to make it out of foam because my 3D modeling skills are not up to par. Um, and yeah, it would just be a huge project, but I've already kind of started on it and I
Oh.
stopped. Um, but I need to get back into it. What I basically decided is that I need to print a bodysuit, like draw it on Photoshop and
Uh-huh.
then print it and then sew it together. That's the only way that the undersuit can work with all of this. Um, so yeah, that would be a
So
dream project.
that sounds so fun. I feel like I don't really know what I. Okay, I will say this because I don't know if this is ever gonna happen. I wanted to cosplay Sidon from The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the
Yeah,
Wild, or Tears of the Kingdom. They're basically the same. For a long time, but like I feel like I don't possess the ability to get the proportions correct by myself right now. Um, like, how do I explain it? His head, the eyes are like so far apart because he's a shark. But I'm like, how do I
yeah,
see out of that? And like, it's a whole engineering like question mark. And then beyond that, it's like there's also the element of like, how do you have a bodysuit that looks realistic enough, and like the proportions of it all, and like all of that, and like I've seen some good costumes that done like human versions of him, and I'm like those are like very cute and I do like them, but I also am like I want to be a full on like shark man.
yeah,
And that's something that I think is too daunting because I don't have like a lot of, oh, I have this dream cosplay and it's so complicated. It's like honestly, here's the thing, if it's like a human person and it's just a matter of armor and clothes, I like can figure out how to do it. But if it's like a non-human monster beast like Sidon, I'm like I don't know where to begin. And I have never made like a fursuit before or anything like that. I've never like ventured into any of these things, so it's that is daunting to me. But I think that the best thing you can do in general for tackling big projects is to, one, don't rush them, because at the end of the day, if it's a dream project for you, you don't want to rush it, and research skills and techniques for how you want to get something done, and ask people, because there's a lot of communities for cosplayers I know in Texas, and I'm sure elsewhere, where there's like, Discord groups, Facebook groups, and you can put out there like, hey, I'm trying to get this pattern on this bodysuit and I'm really struggling with like, do I sew it, do I paint it, do I like do it digitally and then get it printed onto fabric, like what do I do? They can give feedback, because I think that at the end of the day, the collective getting more opinions is always helpful, and asking people that are more experienced or have done something similar is the most helpful, because then you have an actual source of someone that's done it, right? Like,
Yes. I
yeah,
was
like for
gonna say,
me,
like, this is an advertisement for the Facebook group Cosplay Help and Advice. Like, that place is awesome. I have asked a million questions on there, and even the most specific of a type of thing that you're trying to make, somebody on there has made something very similar to what you are making, and they will upload photos of what they did. Like, if you are not on this page and you often encounter uh cosplay issues and whatnot, go to the Facebook group. It's called Cosplay Help and Advice.
that's a great plug. Yeah, I think that utilizing the people that came before you is always great. If you Googling is also helpful, but like if it's something really specific that you're trying to figure out, getting a bunch of people's eyes on it to figure that out with you is usually going to be the most helpful, I think. Yeah, take it slow, do your research. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You want something you're going to be happy with at the end of the day, and it doesn't need to be perfect, right? We're always getting better. My dream cosplay that I made years ago is not going to look as good as a cosplay I make today. And that's part of the learning process and growing process, I think. But like doing the best of what you have and educating yourself on the techniques that you can to make something is going to be better, I think. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, I'm excited to see your costumes though. Like, especially that one that sounds like it came from fucking hell.
Which one? The
The
corn?
no, no,
Most
I
of
don't
them
know
are
her
the
name.
trash.
No, no, no. I'm excited to see the one that you are the one that you're making with like the spikes and the Xenoblade thing.
Oh, yes, yes, yeah. I bought a white morph suit from Amazon, and I started drawing on where all of the little designs need to be. And I cut it out and I took a photo of it, and that is about as far as I got on it. So,
Hey, it's something.
not,
Gotta start
yeah, it's
somewhere.
something.
Oh, and the other question was storing cosplays. So I'm gonna let you take this one because I feel like I am horrible at storing cosplays. So how do you store your cosplays at home? Like, where do you have them, and like, how do you keep track of everything?
I don't. It takes Cosplay takes over every single room of my home. It spreads into the bathrooms, it spreads into there's wig hair in the sink. Um it's in places that it should not be. It's in my shoe closet somehow. Wherever I can fit it, that's where it is. And it has become such a source of stress in my life because I feel like it's a never-ending project, and I genuinely feel like I need professional help with this because I am so out of my league when it comes to trying to organize things and in a way that makes sense. Um, and what I have learned is that if some I'm trying to just sell a lot of things, but to be honest, what needs to happen is I need to donate it. I have so many materials and wigs and stuff, and like no one's gonna buy a wig that's not even worth $5. So what am I supposed to do with this? Um so I am just going to donate a lot of things and, posting on Instagram like, "Hey, does anybody want this cosplay before I throw it away?" Um, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I should be doing. But as far as organization itself, um, I
Wait,
store
wait,
my
wait. Time
fabrics.
out. Time out. The prompt was, what was, what was the prompt? The prompt was, and now Instagram's opening. How do you store your cosplay? And your answer was, I let it consume my entire life and being, and then I get rid of it.
Yes.
There is no other
I'm
solution.
sorry.
I
Sorry, that was a really triggering question.
my, my solution for storing cosplay is to literally yeet it out the house. That's my solution. It's to not have it.
Like,
That's the only
why
one.
is there a wig stand right here? It doesn't need to be there.
were you
other
gonna say about storing things? You were gonna give like a somewhat like applicable answer before I interrupted you.
oh, honestly, I just right now I take things in Amazon boxes. I just throw every piece of the cosplay in that and I close it. I write what it is and I call it a day. That's about as I honestly people should not be replicating what I do. It's I need to quit cosplay. It's so bad.
Oh my god. Okay, so I'm crying. Oh my god, I'm crying. Uh I'm like so stunned and startled. So I think I'm gonna give my actual answer and I'm gonna give like the real like the correct answer. Um I think. So my actual answer is right now we moved to this house not even a year ago and my cosplay closet is in I guess bedroom. So all my finished costumes go in there. And they're all hung up except for the armor because armor can't really be hung up. And so right now it's kind of just all in piles like on the shelves in there, like piled up on itself. So it's like all this armor from all these different characters are just piled up in like the into the rafters of this closet, and all the costumes are hung up on hangers. And then I have like a shoe rack, and then all of the accessories that are like gloves, jewelry, uh, whatever, little accoutrement. I have a drawer underneath all my craft stuff that just stores all of those types of things. So you have to know like what character has the accessories, and then whenever you cosplay, you have to go back and like be like, oh, does this character have like gloves or something? Go through the drawer and like find it. That's what I'm working with right now. I will say what you should be doing is garment bags for your costume, because in the garment bag you can put like small armor as well as your costume. You can even put the wig in the garment bag, and then you can even label the garment bag with what the costume is, and then you can even put the accessories in the pockets of the garment bag. So you can literally have like virtually your whole costume contained into the garment bag, even the shoes sometimes depending on how big the shoes are. Like I know like for like girl costumes, like there's a lot of heels. So, like if they're just heels, they can probably fit in the garment bag too. If they're like boots, like maybe not. But you can have your whole costume contained in garment bags in your closet, and everything is there, with the exception of like big bulky armor. Um, and then you're like good to go. Like that is like the ideal, I think. And then for the armor, I want to get like like those big like Rubbermaid bins, like not bins but like drawers. There's like plastic drawers you can buy that aren't very expensive, and I want to like literally have like a label system where I can label like what armor is in there, and then just throw all the armor into like the clear drawer, and then like label it with like this has like Suga and Dimitri and whoever else, and like that's in the drawer. I feel like that is what you should be doing, not piling it up to the ceiling in your closet, or throwing it into Amazon boxes and then scattering them around your house like you're like planting little Easter eggs like you're on Tingle's demonic island. So
I think you need to come over and help me because I don't think people understand how bad it's gotten until they see it in person. But surprisingly enough, I actually do store some of my garments in the garment bags. That is one thing that I've done.
the one thing, what do you
But
do
I do
successfully? Not the looking into the distance forlornly and short circuiting. Oh my god. Oh,
it's a
this is
work
too
in
much.
progress, I actually do have content already of a transformation of sorts of my craft room. Which
Oh.
it'll be a YouTube video at some point when I figure that out. But for now, it's not quite there yet. But
We got what we get for now.
yeah.
You got what you got. Oh my god, this has been so much fun. I thank you so much for coming on to this I don't even know what to call this program. I was gonna call it like wonderful program. I don't think that describes it properly. This perfectly adequate cosplay programming broadcast. Thank you for coming. I'm gonna go through a little outro, and then I'm gonna ask you where we can find you and everything. So,
All right.
okay. Thank you for joining another episode of the Cosplay Crunch. I hope you had fun. I had a blast. If you'd like to ask a question to one of our guests, please email us at cosplaycrunchpod@gmail.com, or you can go submit it on the website. There's a form for that there as well. You can also follow us on Instagram at Cosplay Crunch Podcast for the latest podcast news and announcements, and on our website, cosplaycrunch.com. If you want to watch us on YouTube to see all of the beauty in person, and also the little outcuts where we're laughing so hard the microphone can't pick up our hysterical laughing, you can go on YouTube at the Cosplay Crunch Podcast and rate us. I keep saying this, but I'm thinking I'm going to devise some type of system where if you can prove that you've rated us, because that means not only have you watched the show, but you've rated us, I'm going to do some like little giveaways for like mugs and maybe hats. And like, it can be really cute. It can be really nice. So yeah, rate us. And also, if you like the show, give us 5 stars. And if you don't, then you can go to any other podcast and rate them 1 in our stead. So do that. Phee, do you have any parting words for our listeners, and where can we find you on social media?
I just want to say that I rated you guys on Spotify, so I deserve to be entered in a giveaway.
You absolutely
Um,
do, girl. You absolutely do. You're number one. You're the 1 out of 1 entry so far. You're the group of one. You're the cosplay group of one, bitch.
yes. You can find me on Instagram at Fee_cosplay. And I have a spicy Twitter, which is Lucifi, Luci. And
Ooh.
my YouTube is the same, Lucifi. And I have a Twitch that I'm kind of working on right now. I've done a couple of craft streams, but I will do gaming at some point. And that is Lucifi with 3 E's because somebody took my username. I think it was me in like a deranged state. And then I don't remember how to get back in. But yes, those are the places.
I like how your OG was like Phee, and then L that's kind of devolved into like I'm literally Satan.
Yeah. You could blame Tingle for that one.
And that's the tea. Thank you guys so much for listening and coming to enjoy our program. Until next time, we will see you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
The Cosplay Crunch podcast is hosted by Zavage Cosplay, with post-production also by Zavage Cosplay. Original theme music by Katie Fairbanks. Logo and graphic design by Owl and Coffee.